Let's welcome former FBI Deputy Assistant Director Danny Coulson. Danny, this is a scary story. We're so glad you're back with us to talk to us about it. The FBI and the Secret Service now investigating who tried to poison the water supply of a city that sits just outside of Tampa. This happened before the Super Bowl. Who do you think tried to do that?
Well, we'll find out. The Secret Service and the FBI will find out. But the real question, Liz, is not will they find them, but why did it happen? This is ridiculous. It shows a lack of attention to security. People don't take this stuff seriously. Suppose instead of being a water facility, suppose it had been a gas facility or a nuclear reactor. And remember, somebody hacked into the Iranian nuclear program and accelerated a centrifuge to the point it blew up. That was hacking. And we have to take this seriously. And I know the FBI will find out with Secret Service who did it. But the big issue is how do we prevent it in the future? And that's where the focus should really be.
I mean, Senator Marco Rubio is saying this is a matter of national security. Let's break down what happened. A water plant operator in Oldsmar, Florida, literally watched as a computer hacker broke into the computers, took control of the computer mouse, directed the mouse to the software that controls water treatment, and then increased the amount of sodium hydroxide from 100 parts per million to more than 11,000 parts per million. If that comes out of a shower head, that's going to burn you. That's lie. I mean, you're right. What if the water plant operator wasn't there to catch it? They say there's redundancies in the system that would have caught the change in the pH level, but this is dangerous stuff, Danny. Who would do such a thing? Who do you think?
Well, it's hard to say. I will tell you, and without pointing fingers at anybody, a lot of the ones I have done are inside jobs. One case I did, there was the computer technician that was the hacker and caused a lot of mischief. I'm not saying that happened here. It probably didn't. But that's one thing we got to be concerned about is who is running your computers? Who is your computer technician? And 99 times out of 100, they're great people. They do a good job. But sometimes they're nefarious. Or what about former employees? Somebody's got a grudge against the company. That's a good place to start looking also.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, Danny. There's a push for clean energy. Everybody gets that. But now we're talking about clean energy, climate change activists trying to change the systems in 17 states plus the District of Columbia. Yes. They're now moving to try to change the systems in the infrastructure. That accounts for nearly half of U.S. GDP and more than 40% of the population. Are we ready for this, given something like that happening in this town? I mean, in Oldsmar, are we ready for this overhaul?
Oh, we're not. Definitely we're not. There needs to be a more heightened sense of awareness into the fact these things happen. People are in denial. Generally, they're in denial about security anyway, but especially in this particular area. And one thing people aren't careful with passwords. They're not careful with access. They don't cancel access when somebody leaves. And bottom line, you're going to be tested. If you're in the infrastructure business or the energy business, they're coming after you. It's almost like a red cell thing. And I believe these companies, these institutions, should try to penetrate their own computers to see where their vulnerabilities are. Until we get serious about this, something really bad is going to happen.
You know, we've been staying on this. We know that, by the way, Senator Joe Manchin, about 14 state attorneys general are saying to President Biden, don't cancel the Keystone Pipeline.
Yes.
But, you know, that's going to affect jobs. But we've buried in that executive order is another directive that President Biden put in there to knock out the prior order by President Trump to protect the nation's bulk power supply. They're going to look at that for 90 days to look at what that, you know, to look at what President Trump did. But President Trump is saying, listen, we've got countries like China trying to put its own power technology equipment into our power grid. So why even review that for 90 days? That seems like common sense. What do you say?
I agree with what you said. We shouldn't be doing that. We should leave that order in place. That needs to be something, not delay it, but accelerate it. Put more effort into it, ensure that people know what the threat is, and we need the government to come in and look at these things. I really like the red cell idea, where the government attempts to penetrate, and if they penetrate your computer system, then consequences flow from that. We have to take it seriously. This is probably the greatest threat on penetration that anybody could do in our country. More important than even developing spies inside our government. just be able to get into our computer systems. And Katie, bar the door. Game on.
All right, Danny, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us.